Hi. My wife and I enjoy this channel on YouTube called Free Documentary. And, they originally got into this sort of thing by watching The Most Dangerous Way to School. And there'll be all of these videos about kids, you know, going to school in Siberia, going through these mountainous regions to get to school, all kinds of really perilous journeys. And then we just keep watching different things. And so this now has a big series of I'm going to go to this group of people that most people probably haven't heard of. And I'm going to, kind of interview them a little bit, let them show me around. And I'm going to, make this video. So that's that we've seen quite a few of them, and they're really interesting. There's one group of people that live on a reed mat, thick mat, but reed mat in the middle of a lake. And, the kids have to boat to get to shore. They catch fish and go to shore and get items they need, and then they go back. But they're actually living on this floating mat of reeds. And there's a process where they continually add new reeds because, of course, they're going to decay in the water. And, they're always replenishing this. They're always redoing the houses and different things like that. So that was kind of bizarre in a way. But then there was one where people would make all their houses out of mud. And they weren't like just mud huts, but these were fairly, stylish, do I want to say. They had all kinds of curves in them. They had painted the outside of them, not bright colors, but white and black basically on most of them. And but the patterns were very specific, told people something about their heritage or whatever. So we're watching more and more of these. Then we watch one. This was depressing. There's one about these group of people who live inside of a volcano or something in caves, and I believe it was in, I'm sure, I forget where it was right now. I'll have to find a link. But basically, they live in these caves, and they've got nothing. Got nothing for food, basically, too. And even the people are showing them, and that one of the guys, it seems like he's the main character of the video. He's even physically stunted. You can tell that, lack of proper nutrition has, impacted these people quite a bit. And so they made some decision there, and they're a family unit, right? This whole group is a family unit. You might think of, they didn't call it a clan, but that sort of idea. That was, this was a way of living at one time. You had a clan, so this was an extended family grouping of people. And so they all decide they're going to go down to the city, and try to find work and maybe have a better life for themselves. And of course, this one was extremely depressing because, of course, they get there, they don't know the language that well, and they're just not capable of doing any kind of work that they can get much of anything for. So they can only get jobs that no one else will ever want to do. Something made me the impression that, like, picking up trash, that was all that the people in the city considered these people to be good for, is just to be like, trash people. And so they decide they're going back to the cave. Well, they don't all decide. Half decide to stay near the city, and the other half decides to go back. And this is, of course, this is a clan, this is a family unit. So when it splits, that creates some big heartaches for the people. So they end up going back, and they show them, they're catching bats to eat. They have these sticks that they're twirling around, and they twirl the sticks around so much and so fast that the bats can't use their echo, to determine where they are, and so it makes them easier to catch it. So they cook this bat and they eat it, and it's like, these are small bats, like bats in Maine, and they're like, there's not much meat on that. It's like eating a mouse. But very, just no amount of really good amount of food at all. And it's just depressing. And it's like a lot of the videos, if you let the people talk there long enough, you're going to find usually that they don't see themselves as noble people living in tune with nature. They really wish they had something better, especially for their children. So next time you see this, oh, these people are, oh, someone's trying to get in a car over there. But one of the people has an orange, bright green jacket, so I guess it's okay. Usually if you're going to break into a car, you don't go through all that trouble. Oh, I don't know. Huh. Well, anyway, so, but if you let them talk long enough, a lot of them will say, they'll say, I want my children to be able to have a choice, or I definitely want my children to live a better life than I did. And sometimes they're even saying, I wish I could, but I can't. This is all I know. And again, the skills that the set of people had, the cave people, they had a skill set, but it had nothing applicable to what was going to be like in a village or city. So you have this tension there. But most people, you hardly ever see a culture now that does. Oh, they got the car open. That doesn't. Maybe I should have been videotaping this. Hopefully they'll. The car there distracted me. Well, guy's got a special tool to do it even, so that must have been an official locksmith person. Oh, there's a truck over there too. But, people, whenever culture meets another culture, the advanced culture always basically, even if it doesn't mean to, basically ends the other culture, because they need to have, they want these things like shoes. How about shoes? Different clothing items. What about your kid is sick and you actually can bring them to a doctor? Instead of, in this situation, one of the clan members was kind of like a, I don't know if you'd exactly call him witch doctor, but healer, herbal, type person. So, but if you're connected with the regular part of society, there are all kinds of childhood diseases that people die of in these primitive cultures that can easily be taken care of in the regular, mainstream culture. So I think the people say that and realize that they want their children to be able to have that. And, there have been one or two people who actually went into the rest of the world, went there, got educated, did these different things, and then they came back into this culture. It usually wasn't the real primitive ones that did that, though. But, but the person had a choice. If they hadn't been given that opportunity to go, they could have never, and get, education and all that stuff, they really never would have been able to make that decision, because it would have been that huge barrier. And it is true, you don't know how much you know until you find someone who doesn't know it. Talking to people in different countries and everything. And, I mentioned this in one other video, soap. The idea of soap. What's soap? Well, soap is a bar. It's this block. And you say, well, what do you use for shampoo? It's like, what? Oh, when you wash your hair, soap. When you do your dishes, soap. When you do this, soap. Clothes, soap. This one thing, this bar of soap, is the only soap they've ever had exposure to. Because, they lived in a culture that was very poor and deprived of a lot of things. And so there's only one soap. And other things, too. Again, you forget how, a dishwasher. How do we use a dishwasher? And it's like, wow, they have no exposure to any of that. Most of us would be able to deduce how we should put the dishes in, because it's a water arm that goes around, the top and the bottom, so we could get some idea of how we'd place these things to get them clean. That's not there because they don't even have the concept of the dishwasher. So I don't know. It's just interesting, but we should be so thankful for what we have, and be so grateful that we aren't in one of these situations where we're basically just clawing our way through to survive each day. And some of these situations these people are in are really, really desperate. And like I say, you can look at it on the surface and say, "Oh, look, it's a quaint little village. They've carved their homes out of the mountain, rock. All their homes. Oh, isn't this that wonderful?" And it's like, well, no. You look there, start talking to people, get them really to open up, and you'll find most generally that there's a lot of stuff wrong with how the people live. And some of the people are like, well, we want to still live here, but we want to get tourism, which some places do, and some unique living situation, and they're counting on bringing tourist dollars in because, again, they want what modern society can provide, and the only way they're going to get it is by bringing tourism in. So that's kind of interesting, but just this idea that I guess when they talk about these primitive cultures and things, or people living in very faraway places and things like that, it's not nice. It's not nice at all. It's very hard, very demanding, and like I say, with some relatively simple thing could kill you in those cultures, and in our culture, take this. This is penicillin. Take 2 a day for 14 days and it'll be gone. They don't have penicillin in those cultures. But so sad, but at least we should be grateful. Bye.